Hi friends, it's Jenny, and it's that time again. This is the John Bead Curiosity Box number 18, I believe. I have that right here, I think it says the number on the packing list. It might not. It might just say, here's your subscription. That's about yep, just the subscription. I think it's number 18. It is Aurora Borealis. Here's the image for it. So I haven't even opened it yet, about to. But this box, I did just check as of this recording. This box does have some quantity available. I don't know how many. Subscriptions are currently open. Again, don't know how long. This is the John Bead Curiosity Box is full of vintage beads. So as such, their subscriptions are limited and the quantities of boxes they can make are also limited. So, just because they're digging into their old stash of vintage beads and putting together collections for us. Currently, like I said, as of this recording, you can get this box. Subscriptions are currently open. Don't know for how long, just until they hit whatever number it is. And the next box, the February box, which is number 19, which is called Best Friends Forever. Kind of in time for the holidays, you know, friend love stuff. That is currently available for pre-order. So if you miss getting the subscription, you can pre-order the next box if it is still also available. So if you do a subscription, you are guaranteed to get the boxes. You don't have to pre-order them separately. It doesn't change the price of the box. So if you're wanting to just get one to try it out and you see one of the pre-orders available, you can do that without signing up for the subscriptions. Just know that that subscription may not be available when you go to look again. It is the same link for all of it. The link that is in the description is going to take you to the landing page for the John Bead Curiosities boxes, and you will be able to see from there what's available, whether there's a subscription, that's the very first item. The upcoming box is the next item, and it'll show whether or not it is available for pre-order or is out of stock, as well as previous boxes will also be listed. Like I said, this one currently shows that it's available. So this is $49.99 in US dollars. It includes shipping, worldwide shipping, and it's just a lot of fun. So let's get into it. I've gotten, this is now my fourth box, and I have developed a strategy. On our channel, we do organization videos, not just a straight unboxing. I have avoided watching the official unboxing for this over on Baby Squirrel Beading. There's going to be a link for that below as well. If you haven't already watched it, go ahead and watch it. Emma often has additional information to show, and she's a lot of fun to watch. So you may as well go check it out too. But I have determined two things. I always need two boxes. I always need at least one of these 18 grid organizers. They are the biggest of the boxes that Becky and I use. They have deeper wells. You can see it compared to our 15 grid organizer here. Yes, I know that's really close. It's because the box is underneath it. Hold on. Move that out of the way for just a minute. So you can see it is a bigger box with deeper wells, and it has 18 of them instead of 15. The first box that I got, I was able to use this 28 lid, pop lid top organizer because there was a lot of smaller beads and checked glass. The next box, the Marie Antoinette, or not the Marie Antoinette. Yes, the Marie Antoinette. I had to use this one because there weren't as many small beads. There were more medium-sized beads. So it was a combination of these two on the first one, these two on the next one, and then back to this on Mistletoe Magic. So I don't know which it's going to be for this video, but we're going to use this box and one of these others. Let's see what's in here. Get the boxes out of the way so we can open up this box and check out Aurora Borealis. I was right, collection 18. I knew it would be on the box. Woven Celestial Dreams. Under the shimmering dance of the Aurora Borealis, she gathered stones kissed by the northern lights. Each gem seemed to hold a flicker of the sky's magic. Green, violet, blue. In her quiet cabin, she threaded them into necklaces, her fingers mimicking the rhythm of the auroras above. Locals said her jewelry glowed faintly at night, as if the lights had settled into them, whispering their secrets. Tourists came for the sky, but left with her pieces, tiny galaxies strung on silver thread. She never sought riches, only to capture wonder. With each piece, she felt she stitched a bit of the heavens into the hands of those still learning how to look up. I love that there's always a little bit of a story. The Marie Antoinette box shared some of her history. There's been other ones that have had a little bit of story, and I love that it has that. Kind of sets the mood, not just with the image, but also here's something to inspire you. I really like that. All right. Let's get this foil out of the little, there's so much stuff in here. Some big stuff too. Wow. Okay. This has a lot, guys. This has a whole lot. So we've got our little sticker. Whoops. Sorry. Box is in the way. Let me get this where you can actually see it. Hold this up. There's our little sticker. That'll go there. There's probably a pin in here somewhere as well. There's the pin. So some things to emphasize those themes. We've got this big box that definitely has some AB coatings going on. AB, my friends, is Aurora Borealis. Perfect for this. But I love that this is like rainbow and then also like crystal with an AB. That's going to be a lot of fun. We've got these ones that have a lot of the soft pastel colors and some butterflies, guys. I'm really excited. These feel acrylic, but I don't mind. And then we've got some stones. That is going to be fun to look at. They may be a combination of glass beads and stone. I'm actually getting more that these are glass. I'll show you why later, because we're going to look at all of this in detail. I've got another little thing here. I think this one is going to be a 28 and 15 grid organizer, just because there are a lot of beads that are larger size. We'll see where that goes. This has multiple little packs in it, and this guy right here, these, I'm trying to remember what they're called. I think these are, these are fire and ice agate. It says it's round carnelian. I think maybe that's like color or style, but these definitely look more agate than carnelian to me. Unless, is carnelian an agate? I don't think it is, but this reminds me of like the fire agate. Oh, and then we've got these that has some, this is heavy. So these are glass pearls in there and a pin and then some tubes of beads. If we have enough smaller beads, we'll do the smaller, not the smaller, but the 28 grid. It depends on how much we want to divide things up. But there is a ton of stuff here. We've got all of this to go through. I am going to get out my big organizer because we are 100% going to start there. But I wanted to give you just a quick, this is everything out of the box. Got these guys. Oh, and some beading needles. That is huge. I don't know what to do with that. Oh, some stretch cord. Stretch bead cord. And some metal complex. Sometimes the metal complex, in fact, we have one that's this shape that was nickel free. Any metals in here, I'm going to set aside to test unless it has an NF on it. That's just normal. Oh, that's a pretty color though. Okay. Okay. So just getting it out of this packaging. Okay. Let's do, I'm going to set those aside, the little extras, the bead mixes in their bags. We'll go over here. These guys. Let's see how much space my large beads take up in the 18 grid organizer, and then I'll decide. Probably going to do the 15, but I'll decide after we've done this. So let me try to get the, there we go. There's going to be a little bit of a glare when that lid is closed, but that's not going to be closed for long. So these are the biggest beads in here. I mean, we have this too. That's gonna take some space. But I'll probably open up a section for some of the larger things. One of the reasons that we like the 18 and 15 grid organizers is because they do have customizable sections. We're not stuck to this size and shape. We can extend this and put two together, or I can remove a whole section here. Like if I take out this bar, these other four come with it, and we can have one large section here. I will probably do that, but I want to kind of see where everything else fits. This may just end up being kind of off on its side just because it would take up so much room on its own. It would take up all that. But look at all the AB on that. Look at how much sparkle that is. This is definitely like fashion jewelry. It's not heavy. So I suspect that this is not metal back here, but an acrylic backing. But it's got a ton of sparkle. I'm not quite sure what I would do with it. It's possible that I would turn this into an ornament. That could be a really cool ornament, or it would be a very statement piece if you did it in jewelry, but also it wouldn't be that heavy for how big it is. So very statement, very flashy. Look at all that color. Definitely the epitome of the Aurora Borealis theme. Okay, let's do these right here. So at first when I was looking at these, I thought these might be gemstones, but I don't think they are. And let me show you why. I think these are opalite. I think these are glass. They sound like glass. Hear that? So you've got these opalite, they're kind of center drilled nuggets. Some of these drill lines are not very straight. So for example, this one, you can see it's got that curve in it. This would be better on beading wire than on like trying to put it on a pin. Some of them are straighter. Well, I thought that one was, but part of the curve did that. So you just want to be careful how you use those. And then we have these, they're a similar but more translucent. They've got more color to them, more of the kind of moody blue tones. And then these are like tab trapezoids. And I know that I've seen these shapes with check glass. And so these are all kind of a little bit too uniform in shape. They do have swirling colors, which you see with check glass. And so I think that these are all check glass. And they're really cool. I'm going to see how they fit in their own little sections for the different kinds, or if I want to open it up and kind of combine it a little bit more so that they can flow. I think that will fit. That will fit. So I combined, there's more of the opalite colored ones. So one of them did come over here with the darker toned, but I can do this. This will fit and it will close and latch. So without opening it up, I've got those guys in there. And then let's do these big chonkers because they are big. Like I said, these are like a fire agate. It says on the back round carnelian, but I don't think these are actually carnelian. That's okay. They are gemstones though. If they are carnelian, if you know differently, because you've seen most of the carnelian I've seen has been, it hasn't had as much variation in color. And you can see there's a lot of really cool variation with these. So if you know differently, let me know. Let me know. But they are listed as agate as well. They just all rolled off my dish. But look at how pretty they are. Sorry. Bumping the camera with the light, trying to get it in a better position. Okay. Do they all fit? They don't all fit in one, but I bet they'll fit in two. I don't think they need a full two, so they may have some roommates, but they're not all going to fit together. So I'm just going to take out this one divider, stick it here underneath the beads. See, it looks like it's one layer, but it's one layer plus. So there will be some other things that we'll end up putting with those. And that's cool. This bag also has a lot of large beads. Let's do it next. And it has this pin, super glittery pin. I will need to nickel test the findings for this to decide whether or not I can use it. I do have a metal allergy, and it is something that I have to watch out for, but we have a solution. That link is also going to be in the description below if you're curious about that, or you can just order a bottle of this chemical that you use a Q-tip and rub it along metal for a certain amount of time, and if it turns pink, there's nickel being released. There's nickel present. So I just have to make sure that I can use, but I love this color, this blue stone. So I'm going to set this here with our big piece. It would probably fit just fine, but I want to prioritize the beads since I might have a separate little baggie with the glittery bits. Oh, this is, okay. Oh, this is actually a finished piece of jewelry. It is heavy. These are glass pearls, but they've got these nuggets and these other shapes on here. It's got this crystally bit and a toggle clasp. I will check this to see if the metal that was used is safe for me. Oh, it's asymmetrical? It is. It's asymmetrical. So if the clasp is like this, then this is how it is. I'm holding the clasp on one end. Or if you do this, then the clasp is slightly off on the side, but this is not a symmetrical pattern between these two. So there's some cool stuff going on there. If I can't use this because of the metals, then I will pull this apart. I'll just cut open these links and scavenge the pearls to use separately. Again, especially since this is a finished piece of jewelry, I may not take up space in my box, and we might be able to use the 28 grid organizer that lets me better sort out and keep separate the smaller beads. I feel like I'm setting a lot of stuff off to the side, but I was not expecting such a chunky piece of finished jewelry. They do like to do finished jewelry as like little gifts for us. So I'm not surprised that there is something there. This is the first time I've seen one that big. But again, this is only my 4th box. Let's do these guys. This has some big beads in it. We've got 4 of these. I love this color. I love the glow. Look at the glow against my dish. Those are a lot of fun, and they are heavy. These are glass. You probably are not going to want to do these in earrings. Speaking of which, I might make something at the end of this video. I'm currently thinking earrings, but I'm not quite sure if that's what I'm going to end up doing or not. And then we have these little nuggets, and they aren't heart-shaped, but they feel heart-shaped to me. They've got the AB coating on one side, and they're otherwise jet. Put those aside. These are a little bit smaller, and there's only 4 of them, but I do want to put these in here. Again, I might be roommating some of these things. Let's do these. Let's do these. This is fairly light, so I'm going to guess that this is acrylic. I think I said that when I was pulling it out. And these are vintage beads, so some of them are glass, some of them are acrylic. There's a mix. And this is a big pile of fun beads. Let's grab a few of them, both colors, so you can see how much color there is in the iris ones. And then we've got the AB. And yeah, those are going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to sort this. You knew I'd start sorting beads at some point. May as well be now. And these are big guys, so I'm not even using my bead scoop to divide things. I'm just using my fingers. It was roughly in half in the package, but of course that got mixed up a little bit. Removing it from the package, no getting around that. So just scooting these. And these guys are definitely going to end up in my bigger organizer here, because there are so many of these beads, and they're really fun and light. And I'd heard that one of the trends this year is going to be longer necklaces. So lighter necklaces, if they're long, is an important thing, especially if the trend of chunky beads is also true. So I don't know, maybe I'll be inspired and we can make something with this. A longer necklace that incorporates some of these chunkier beads. Okay, now to try to get these in my box. All right. I need to see if each color will fit in one square, or if I need to open that up and put them in 2 squares for each color. I think I'm gonna need 2, because I have a full square back here. And not quite half left, but a decent enough number left that they're going to need to go in here. Just getting this. I like to put the plastic underneath it because I do reuse my containers. You know, if I've worked through a collection or have otherwise, oh yeah, Okay, so I'm just gonna follow the same lead because when I was looking at the package, it definitely looked like it was the same quantity of beads for both styles. But eventually this stuff is going to work into my stash, and when it does, this box will end up getting reused. So keeping the little plastic bits with it is helpful for, you know, the reusability. Oh yeah, I think there's even more of the clear ones. I'm glad that I decided to do that because that takes a full, I don't know if you can see how full that container is, but it's full. And which is perfect because, again, I don't know that I could have picked better beads to epitomize, like, these are big chunkies. I'm gonna leave this section here because I'm looking at what I have left to sort, and I think I might be able to, now I have to question whether or not I need to move things over. Because if I take these out, like I said, this is an organization video. I think I can put this in here, maybe. No, that's too big on its own. Yeah, that's gonna take up too much beady space unless I break it apart. And I don't know yet if I'm gonna be doing that. But if I, for example, move these beads, and these beads, actually I'm gonna do these round guys, put them over here because nope, because I'm gonna need that. All right, does that fit there? That will close. Okay, because they don't take a full thing on their own. I wanted them to roommate, but I needed to make sure that they would fit somewhere good. Okay, so then I take these, put them here, put this barrier down, and then I move all these clear ones over here. Little cross movement. Then I will take this section down and put some of these big chunky items there. I think I can actually do that and still have room in my 28 grid organizer for other beads. Okay, so then, and this time, so I'm gonna take this out. So when I remove this bar, then it's the support for the other one. So it makes this one large section. This time I am going to remove these from the thing. I've got a drawer here that I put them in when I need to do that. And now I should be able to put this in. I can put these larger items here where we can still see them, and whether or not we're using them for a design, we can be inspired by them. And then I've got two wells here that I'm about to use with some of these larger beads. And then we're going to be into mostly smaller beads after that. So I think this is actually going to work out perfect. All right. So this one has some beads that I'm going to want to try to put in here. This one definitely has some beads I want to put in here. This is my little pastel mix, and there's several beads in this mix. Let's take a look at them. I love, love, love these butterflies. They are so light and playful. They might become earrings. Like I said, we're probably going to make something, and I was leaning towards earrings. I don't know how many pairs I have. I actually have quite a few pairs. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. They didn't leave me hanging. So I have two each of clear purple, this blue, which is more of a sky blue, this one, which is more of a turquoise, this light lemon yellow, and then more of a buttery yellow and pink. There's two of each. I don't know if everybody's going to get such a balanced mix, but I did, and that makes me really, really happy. So these guys go in here. Love, love, love them. And then we have these little rounds that they just look like a dream, like a unicorn cloud dream. And they're so pretty, so much color. You can see so many different colors. There's blues and greens and pinks and purples and even a little bit of orange that's not like a horrible orange. You know me and oranges. But these are delightful. Absolutely delightful. And then we have these guys that are, I don't know how to describe this kind of bead. It's got a clear coating on the outside, white on the inside, and then swirled coloring. Most of them are this kind of turquoisey blue, but then we also have some that combine like yellow and green and orange and turquoise, but they go with those same kind of pastel, playful colors that we were just looking at. There's only a few of these, so just like these other ones that I set aside to go into the smaller container, these are also going to go into the smaller container. I think that this box is almost done. I have several bead mixes here, and also, oh, these strands. I forgot about those strands. I was feeling so confident. Okay. Change of plans. I'm going to do the 15 for the other one because I think that's going to fit well. We'll see. We'll see. I might change my mind and switch it all up, but that's what I'm leaning towards, because these mixes are like mixes that I probably won't separate out the individual colors. They're mostly the same type of bead or slight variations. So I might keep these mixes. In fact, this one is a seed bead mix. So it will probably not, I won't keep them in these containers just because they're not going to fit easily in any of my boxes. But I'm probably going to keep the mixes as is and maybe just use some other types of containers. But I'm going to set this aside for now because it is mostly full. It might get some roommates, but I think based on the size and quantity of these remaining beads, I think the 15 grit organizer is actually going to be our best choice. Not the direction I thought that we would go, but that's okay. Let's see, 1, 2. Nope, I'm going to do the 28. I'm going to do the 28 because even if these have to double up, I still get better division and better control of smaller beads. So one of the reasons that I like this container, it's the one that Becky uses for certain collections that she gets. Dollar Bead Box, Craftica, a lot of our check glass actually fits really well in these. But one of the things I like about it is that it's got 7 of these rows of pop top containers. So you can put smaller beads in here and keep the row closed and just dump out whatever bead you need. So we're going to go with this. I'm going to start with these guys. Let me get these opened up, get my bead scoop out and my flush cutters. Hold on a moment. I left them in another room. This is going to be so much easier. Flush cutters. And also while I was paused, I went ahead and grabbed, just because it really fits color-wise with this box, this was the abalone shell triple strand bracelet that I made from the Marie Antoinette box. There'll be a link to that in the description too, in case you missed it, but it felt on theme. So I decided to wear it, and you might get flashes of my bracelet, and that's okay. Because it's fun. All right, let's do these. So these are, let's see, check glass beads, 8-inch strand. This one is ice green. They're both 8 millimeters, ice green and African violet are these 2 colors. Check glass beads. And these were one of the reasons I was thinking about not using these containers, but again, these are check glass, and a lot of our check glass stuff fits really well in these. The question is if I can get all of one color. Oh, they'll just share. I'll use three wells because most of it will fit in one. That closes pretty nice. This one I've got a few in here, so I'll put the purple in here, fill that up, and then put the additional purple in there. Violet, African violet. Okay, come on. There we go. 3 sections for the 2 beads, and I'll just mix and share that middle one. I'm fine with them sharing. Speaking of sharing, these are other beads that we pulled out from our other mixes. I've got these ones. I don't know if I actually showed you these ones. I set them off to the side. They've got like a dichrotic glass inside, so they've got a little bit of foil. Maybe they're just silver lined, but oh, it is just silver lined. Okay, it's kind of like a gold luster silver lined, but it's got an AB coating on it. That's what was making me think it was dichrotic glass. But those are pretty small, and there's only 4 of them, so they fit in there just fine. Oh, they don't all fit. I thought they would roommate nice. That's okay. I'm gonna put these colorful ones in here, and we're gonna find another spot for those silver lines. So these all thematically go really well together. So that's one bar of our, or row of our organizer. And then we've got, let's do these packets. So I've got this one. This one has the next largest beads. Some of these beads, if I don't like the way they fit in here, they'll roommate with something else in the larger container, and that's okay. I feel like I should be able to tear this, but I'm just gonna cut it. Oh, it's actually slit open at the top. It looked like it was closed at the top. So I didn't need to cut it. I just needed to get the Ziploc part open. Yeah, I think these will fit. All right, so then we've got these. Lots of great check glass here. I love that swirl. It looks a little bit orangey on the screen. It is more, maybe a touch salmony, but it is more like reds and light reds. Not quite pink, but along those tones. And there's 5 of those. And I think, no, they won't fit in one. So these ones are larger, and I thought that they might need to roommate in our bigger box, and they will. These guys also have a lot of space, so I'm just making sure that I have some of both beads up and visible where they are. Those were the ones I suspected needed to do that. And then we've got some more fun things. So we've got, let's do these red beads. Get these pony side style beads out of the way. Here we go. So we've got these red ovals, and these ones are larger and translucent. So they are all translucent. Just a beautiful solid red color. These ones, I've got a few that are translucent and a few that are frosted. We got 4 frosted and 3 translucent. I'm gonna just keep them together because there are just the 7 total. And then we've got these kind of glass pony shaped beads. These might be was it not D? I've been playing too much Dungeons and Dragons over the Christmas holidays. These might be 06s, possibly. They're not uniform in size, so there's some discrepancy. Like some of them are a lot taller than others. Turn a couple of them on their side next to each other so you can see. You see those two? This one's a lot taller than that one. But they're kind of a rondelle shape, and they've got pinks and greens, kind of a teal and pink and some purples where those have blended on these. And they're really fun. And they're gonna take 2 sections. But right next to each other. Those were in the same bead mix as those swirled larger beads that I had roommating in the other container. And then we've got, let's do this one next. This one also has some larger sizes. Oh, they're so cute. There's some check glass hearts. I think these are hearts. Yes. So these are check glass hearts. Okay, check glass hearts with a gold wash, but they've got like a star pattern. Oh, and they are front drilled. They're top drilled front to back. So these are going to make great charms and dangles. How fun are those? I wasn't expecting that. I thought they would be center drilled like a lot of other glass hearts. And I'm going to put them in here. I'm going to go ahead and put them in 2 sections, mostly in this first section here. And then we've got just 3 of these. So they're going to go in with the other hearts, the shaped glass. These are center drilled little stars in like the stormy blue that I like. What do we call that? I don't remember. Steel blue, like a steel blue with a luster on them, a little bit of a coating. So I'm going to put them in there with these other glass hearts. Okay, we've got those, and I'll just share. And then we've got these. These are kind of a nugget shape. They're a little bit like a drop. They feel more like a nugget, but they're like a crackle glass that have this purple, really deep purple swirl through them. Those are delightful. And then we've got these guys. They're very pale pink and blue swirl. So they give periwinkle, they give a blue violet, dropping beads. I always drop at least 1 bead. There it went. But these are table cut. So you can see they're a little bit frosted, but here where they've been cut across the top, they're translucent. So they're cut on the top and bottom in kind of a diamond shape. See if I can angle this in my light so you can see that's the shape. Okay. So that's the shape that is cut in these window cut beads. Let's see if they'll all fit in one section here. They will not. Okay, so I'm closing this one, pouring these guys out. And remember these guys that we didn't know where they were gonna go? I feel like they go really well with all of these other guys, with lots of the crystal and shimmer and crackle that's going on. And we're gonna open our next section and put these guys into sections. Fill up one, overflow into the other, and then we'll decide if it's going to roommate with something else. So that one is definitely full. This one might get some additional stuff. Here is another bead mix in kind of the lime colored package. So we did the red one first, and then we just did the purple one. I don't know if they're the same for all of them. I would assume so. But this has some fun blues. Oh, I love these. Okay. These are getting some tray time. Hold on. These are the next things to go in my organizer because they're beautiful and they have that surprising little flash. It's from the coating. So these, again, they're check glass and they are a teal color, leaning green, like definitely a green teal, possibly green, but they've got where that coating is this flash of beautiful blue. Reminds me of the kind of flash that you get in like larvacite, which is more of like a gray cousin to labradorite, and that often has either blue or silver flashes instead of the golden toned and the other different colors. But I love those. I love that little peekaboo that we get with that coating. Definitely getting these guys in their little home. They fit just fine. Had one spill out there. Okay, so got them in there. And then we've got these guys. This is a mix of, again, some glass pony beads. These are very similar to the pink version that we saw earlier. These guys, they're very similar to that, but these are all yellow and blue swirled together to mix and make green. And they will not fit in what remains of this container. So I'm going to open up the next one. So sorry. It's fine. I'm still going to end up using all my space. I'm going to get these in here. I don't know that I necessarily feel like I need to sort these specifically into the different types. Just because they are so swirled, it's difficult to decide on some of them which color they should count as. But they're definitely a lot of fun. and they're going to take up 2 sections right here. There we go. Make sure that's nice and closed. Very full. Okay. All right. Now we are to our tube mixes. And we still have 2 whole rows plus these 3. So I feel pretty confident that I can actually go through and sort some of these, especially like this pink that has a lot of variation and this green. In fact, because we've got some open spaces for green right here in these bars, let's do the green one next. And we're gonna get our bead sort going. That's one of the things I enjoy about this box is all the fun bead sorting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, let's do these bigger guys first. I may not sort the smaller ones, but when there's, you know, larger, like these are 6mm beads in here, I kind of want them to be in their own separate section because I can use them in a lot of different ways. I mean, you can use all of these in a lot of different ways, but I don't want to look at it and think, oh, that's all seed beads, when it's not. So these are kind of an olivine with a vitriol finish on one half. Might even be kind of a gray. I don't know what to call that base color, but it does read like a greenish gray. And then it has these lovely coatings on them. I think a couple of these might be different beads. These 2 don't seem to fit. Oh, wait. Okay. I do have 2 different kind of beads here. So here's one of the kinds of beads, the ones I was describing to start with. See how they've all got that kind of half vitriol on it? I'm going to put that here in this darker one that has the purples as well. Those definitely fit in there. And then there's fewer of these, but these are fully coated and have a lot of variation in the color. There's only 6 of those, so I'm not quite sure where they're going to be. This bead mix, let's see how it divides up. We've got these translucent greens that I'm moving off to the side up here first. And it's kind of funny because they feel like they have square holes, some of these do. Like these darker ones that are lined, they have square holes. And this looks like it's got like an edge in it, like it's like got a square hole. Could be wrong. Did they do that? Did they used to do that? Make some of these with square holes? That feels like a square hole to me. Not all of them are. These more opaque ones and the frosted ones, they don't have that same look to them. Friends who have been beading for a while, were squares hole a thing with your larger seed beads? I feel like you see them really clearly on the lined ones, so I'm going to get them up close and personal for you. But gotta have a little bit of bead sorting. Most of our organizing has gone pretty smoothly, just a few adjustments. I feel like I'm starting to, and it's every one of these boxes is different, a different configuration, a different grouping. Like I said, this is twice now that I'm using the 15 grid organizer with the 18, but twice I've used, oh no, I'm using the 28. I changed my mind, didn't I? Before I started putting it in the 15. So 3 times I've used the 28, which I think is going to be what it is most often, just because they do have a lot of check glass and a lot of smaller beads like these. These are large for seed beads, but they are seed beads. The rest of this mix. So I do feel like that's going to be the typical. I wonder if the Marie Antoinette box was more of an outlier size-wise. But every time I've learned enough to be prepared with all the boxes when I start these videos. Okay, so those are the translucent ones. And then I feel like the other one that we have, these are just distinct. I'm gonna separate them out. I feel like the other one that we have a lot of are these, I guess I could just show you all of them together, but I've already started sorting, friends, and you know, once you start sorting, you kind of just have to keep going. It's just the way it is. But I feel like the next one, well, they're probably fairly even. Oh, that's a really, really dark emerald, guys. You don't see it because it is so dark. So you're seeing the top, like when you've got beads, I'm getting a strand of something, because when you've got beads that are like this, when they're laying down, they just want to show you their hole. But these guys, do you see that? Where, because these are silver lined, it's such a dark green that you don't even know that it's green until the light catches the lining. But look at that. Look at that. I just used from one of the strands that we already undid. Those are really cool. They're super dark. But I told you I was going to show you the holes. Let's get these up close. These are distinctly square holes. Okay. And then these ones, when I was sorting them, they feel like they're square holes to me too. I feel like I see more edges. Are these also square holes? They are square holes. Look at that up close. So yeah, these two beads have square holes. These other ones are round. We've got one that they're both more opaque. One is frosted. One is more like a shiny AB coating on it. But this really lovely Kelly green. I have some larger Kelly green that I got from a friend recently that I think would be really fun with this. It might be fun to make something, especially as we head into the spring, St. Patrick's Day, you know, getting some nice Kelly greens is definitely a good thing. And also, these are the colors in the Aurora Borealis, this green. So, I feel like we have the fewest of these frosted ones. Sorry, I started sorting off camera. But they're really fun. I don't know if I'm going to keep them all separate because I don't know that they'll take up space the right way. Yeah, these ones definitely have the most. I thought they might. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This one that we have the most, I want to see how much of a section it fills up. We've sorted, now we're back to combining. Pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and, even though it's already sorted, I'm going to go ahead and put these ones, just because they'll take up less space. I'm going to put these frosted ones in here as well. Give it a little stir with my tweezers on the end of my scoop so I can see both the colors that are in that mix. And then we're going to put both of the square hole centers. So these ones that are the transparent green and the silver lined emerald, really, really dark emerald. That, again, you barely even catch it when it's laying flat. So, and we have a little bit more room. I'm going to consider this as a place to put these beads that we have set off to the side if I don't have space for them after doing my other, because we still have 3 of these and I've got 2 sections left. So the other one that I feel like has some distinct shapes and different beads in it is this pink one. I want to do it next. And I can see these pink ones being really sweet with, if we make some butterfly earrings from those butterflies that we found earlier. Okay, so they've got these really pale pink AB discs. Look at how pretty they are. They are pink and they're AB, but it's just a very, very sweetly pink, incredibly delicate color to them. I don't even know if that comes through the camera, only a little bit. So we're gonna do those. Let's get those sorted out and separate. And then we've got 2 different size seed beads along with them. So those will also probably be separated. I'll get to them in a minute. I want to get these discs out first because they're larger and they take up a little bit more space. And then because these other ones are 2 distinctly different size seed beads, I've got a trick to do most of the separating without having to do it this way. Not that I mind doing it this way. I do like to sort beads. And I know some of our friends do too. So I hope if you're hanging out for this video, you've been around long enough to know that our John Bead organizing videos are always quite long. A big part of that is the volume of beads. It's a lot of beads for 50 bucks, many of them vintage. So it's a great way to build your stash with interesting beads. And it will be a variety of beads. Sometimes it's a lot of checked glass. Sometimes you have more acrylic. This one has a lot of glass, just a little bit of acrylic that we've seen. And then also we've got some gemstones this time, those fire agate. But the other reason that this video takes longer is because there are a lot of bead mixes. They don't just give us 1 or 2 bead mixes that we then sort. If you've watched our videos, you know that we sort other bead mixes as well. It's not just these, but they give us a lot of bead mixes. For example, this collection here came with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10 different bead mixes. And some of those are super easy to sort, just, you know, with our fingers. Some of them are smaller beads like this and take a little bit more time. But it's very satisfying to me to get it all sorted where I can clearly see what I have to work with and can start imagining putting things together. My trick this last month, some of you may have noticed that I have not actually made anything from the Mistletoe Magic Box yet. That is because December was super crazy. I just got back in town 2 days ago. And this box actually wasn't even going to be delivered until next week. And I was going to do a Mistletoe Magic make this weekend. But we got the box, so I'm doing an unboxing. I can't help it. I can't help it. So I will probably revisit that box. It's not going to be in the time for like, hey, here's a Christmas design. Because guys, it's well past Christmas. It's past New Year's. We are in 2026 and we have moved on to, oh my gosh, look at this. With that pile there, it's so pretty. It's dreamy. That's a dreamy bead. John Bead, I love these ones. This is a super dreamy bead. Oh no, do they not all fit? They do not all fit. Hey, you know what? I have some beads here hanging out looking for some neighbors. So I'm going to put the rest of these beads here. They'll overflow into the second one. And then I'm going to put these beads here as well. They don't really fit because they're so dark compared with everything else. But these need more space than one of these little sections could have. Okay, so here's my trick. Because these are such distinctly different sized beads, I should be able to just lightly roll my hand over it and pull more of the pink. Oh, it's not working. The purple's coming too. No, it is working. It is working. See how it's like more of the pink is coming? It's going to be less individual separating. I'll still need to weed out some of the purples, but that is one of the ways to separate stuff that is different sizes. Becky taught me that. The bigger the size difference, the better. But those little beads just kept wanting to go along for the ride. I was hoping that would be more successful than it was, but it was a good start. It was a good start. Look at how much is already sorted. So we've got this really pretty kind of a magenta color, but it looks like it's a little bit of a swirl. So it's like crystal and fuchsia. That's it, fuchsia. Crystal and fuchsia swirl. And then this really pretty pale like lilac. And these are, looks like probably 6/0 seed beads, and I think these others are likely to be 11/0, just to give a size idea. Maybe those, no, those aren't 8/0. They're definitely smaller than a lot of our other beads that we've gotten. Okay, so let's get these where you can see this color a little bit better. Kind of a fuchsia and crystal swirl. And then this really pale lilac. Let's get them put in their container. I love to use seed beads. I know Emma does a lot of designs that are actual bead weaving. She's definitely more practiced at that than I am. I love to use seed beads in my strung designs. I feel like if you can add seed beads, it can sometimes make a strung design feel and look more delicate. It can add bursts of color. It can add shine, and you know, rather than having to be like a metal spacer, you can use like silver lined seed beads. I do that a lot. So those are very useful, and they're going to be fun in some of this. All right, I have, this is where it's going to get tight. I have 2 mixes and 4 openings. So this is where we've got it so far. There is a little bit of room. If I needed to, I could move these smaller ovals in with the larger ovals and get another spot there. I can also move these crystal silver lined in here where we've already room-mated a couple of things and get another spot there. So there's a couple of places I've already got in mind that I can move things around if needed. But these mixes, I don't think I'm actually going to separate because all of the beads in each of these mixes is the same size. They're just different colors. So, for example, these are a bunch of 6/0 seed beads. Let's get a section of them onto my dish so you can see. We've got this really pretty aqua color, some light blue that's translucent. Some of these are, I think those are actually drooks. They're more rounded. So I guess there is one that's not the 8/0 seed beads. These guys. These lighter colored ones. I'm not going to stress about it though. They're very close to the same size as everything else. So even though these are more round than these, you still get a lot of those things. But you've got purples and blues. This is mostly a blue mix. There's a little bit of like purple action that we get going on like right here. I don't know if we can see this. If you can see that coating on it. But that's what this mix is. So I want to see how many sections this takes up. If it takes 2 or does it take 3? If it takes 2, then I think we're good. Because this next one is also, there are some larger beads mixed in with this, with the delicas, so we might separate those out a little bit, but we'll see. These are, I don't know if they're actual delicas or if they're Celine beads, I think is the brand that John Bead has been selling. They are cylinder seed beads is what those are. Okay, so that's 1 full. I think they'll fit. I think it'll fit in 2. So if I don't separate those out, because they're definitely like the minority in that mix, the larger ones in the other mix. Let's see how this goes. Or, okay, maybe I do separate them out and put them in one of the other sections that I already pointed out. So that mix, unsorted only takes 2 spots. And like I said, it has some of them that do look like they're rounds, but they're really close to the same size as those 6/0 seed beads. So we're keeping them in there. Okay. And then, okay, we've almost got this, guys. Yay. All right. So this is our last bead mix right here. And it's got a lot of clear crystal with AB cylinder beads, as well as some dark ones. They might be jet with the finish on them. Just getting them out of that lid. But then they've got these gray 6/0s, these guys. So I think I am going to pull those out, but not separate out the 2 different cylinder beads. I'm going to keep the cylinder beads mixed as they are. And I would try my trick with this, but it won't work because there's so many more of the tiny beads than there are of the larger beads. And so they'll just go everywhere. Okay. I like that they put the gray with it because it makes you think of, okay, it doesn't have to be just these stark, you know, black and clear. So, you know, it sends my mind that direction, but also I really like those gray beads on their own. And I don't want to forget that they're there just because they're buried in a pile of cylinder seed beads, because there's a lot of them. Okay. When I finish getting these sorted, we're going to get everything back on the mat and look at everything that's in here. Then I'm going to pick out something to make. I don't know if it's going to be earrings. I don't know if it's going to be leaning towards earrings. Might be a bracelet. I don't only make bracelets, guys, I promise. I don't think I want to do a necklace. Although I did mention doing a necklace with the acrylic, these guys. They're like acrylic elongated rice shapes, but they've got really pretty shimmer to them and they're not going to be heavy. Yeah. I'm sorry. I stopped talking because I started thinking. I can do both, but I'm also sorting, and apparently that's my limit. I can sort and think, or I can sort and talk, or I can think and talk, but we had 2 that escaped. We want you over here, friends. Okay. There are a lot of these beads. So many. I know that I haven't watched her unboxing, but I am subscribed to Baby Squirrel Beading. That's where the official unboxing of these John Bead Curiosities Box takes place. And so I haven't watched, but I have seen that she's posted several new tutorials already making earrings with these beads, some bead woven earrings. And because there's a lot to work with. There's so much to work with in this box. So if you enjoy bead weaving or want to try it out, go check that out. See what she has that she's been working with.
my style of earrings are going to be different. Just because we are different beaders, we're different people. We approach things differently, creatively. And I love that about being part of this community, is how diverse our interests and skills and styles can be. And there's room for everybody. Okay, I've almost got this sorted. And like I said, I'm not going to separate the dark and clear cylinder beads. I'm going to keep those mixes as they are. But I do want to separate out these gray ones. I'll show you up close in just a moment what all these beads look like. Okay. So these are the cylinder beads. And you can see there's more of the clear than the dark ones. But the dark has kind of a vitriol and the clear has the AB on it. So similar to what we saw in that other mix. But you get different aspects of the rainbow. And I'm going to go ahead and put these in here. There's so many of them. Didn't even dump them all out of the tray. Okay, that's enough for that one. And put the rest in this side. I don't know why those didn't come off the dish. Weird. Sometimes static or a little bit of change in moisture will make seed beads stick to packaging. We've all had that happen when you open a plastic bag and you can't get all the seed beads out. Gotten all staticky, so they cling to the side. So that's our seed bead mixes from there. And then we decided, or I decided at least, that these smaller ovals will fit just fine with their larger friends. They all came in the same mix anyway. And then I'm actually going to take, oh, I didn't show you the gray ones. So they've got like this silvery sheen to them. They're like a gray but with a silver luster. They're really pretty. I like the shine on them. Hard to see because again, they're all, you know, any type of rondelle shape is going to try to show you its hole first, which sounds so wrong, but you know, it's what it does. It's hard to see on its side when it's on a flat dish, but you can see a little bit right here. Let me move this. See how some of these are on their side, so you can see that sheen a little bit better. That's better. Just back out to normal distance. I'm going to take out these 6mm beads that, are they 6? I feel like they are. I have a caliper, but I didn't get it out for this unboxing. As much as this has the room, I feel like it distracted because they were so dark, but these are also dark. So I'm going to put them in here instead. And the gray ones with them, because the gray ones don't need a whole section to themselves either. I feel like they don't distract from each other as much with that kind of combination. I'm just giving them a little shake. Mix up those two different styles of beads. You still mostly see the smaller ones on top, but I'm pulling a few of the larger ones up so you can see what's in there. That feels like it looks better. Okay, here we go. We have, for our Aurora Borealis collection. We're not done. Don't forget to stick around, and I'm going to make something, probably earrings. We have our big 18 grid organizer. Oh, I do need to zoom out a little. Wrong way, Jen. So you can see the whole thing. Yep, I have to move some of the stuff that you don't need to see out of the way. So we've got Aurora Borealis. We've got all of our larger beads here in our main box, our 18 grid organizer. And then we've got our 28 grid, and the lids are blocking your view. So I'm opening those up for you. Yep, trying to get that. And I'll end up taking a picture with these as well. So I need to have them open anyway. But trying to get where you can see them. Adjust some of the lids so they're not blocking the guys behind them as badly. See what's in there. And then these guys, I'm going to turn the opposite direction so their lids are coming towards me. These two are very full. Well, so I'm opening this off camera because I just want the leverage of holding it against my body to pop them open. There we go. Get those kind of straight up. Look at all this color, guys. So much color. So much color. There we go. This is a new box. I hadn't used it yet, so the lids are all very, very snug and tight, which is good, but also, you know, we're trying to show you the beads. Okay, so this is all of the beads for the Aurora Borealis collection, number 18. They also gave us some gold eye beading needles in the size 10. Right here, they gave us some stretch bead cord that's this cool, like, teal blue color. I like that color. I'm going to take this out of its package, actually. You don't need it to stay in its package. Here we go. Look at that. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. They had this finished necklace that I have in here I'll need to test, and some of these other things, but there's not a whole lot of metal otherwise. There are these findings that there's another version that was labeled NF, but this one is missing that information. So we'll need to test that as well. But I think I'm checking, making sure I didn't miss anything. I did not. This is our Aurora Borealis box. Okay, so I want to make something fun. I still keep thinking about these earrings, these butterflies that need to be made into earrings because they're chunky and they're colorful. I mean, look at that shimmer inside them. But they're light because they're acrylic, and I want to celebrate that. So I think I am going to, let's see, maybe I'm going to do something with the, like, have this on a pin and then have this as a dangle, or just really lean heavy into the fun pastel rainbow thing. I'm kind of leaning that. I am going to do, let's do the aqua colored ones. Like I said, I have 2 of each color. I'm going to do the aqua colored ones. Okay. Actually, if anything, I'm leaning silver for metals. I do wonder about doing a star. No, that's too dark. Okay. Let me move some of this out of the way. We're going to start putting some stuff on my mat right now. Just have to clear these things away that are so dark and distracting. And I am gonna, like I said, need to take a picture, but I will do that after. I love, 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 love these soft pink things. I'm gonna use some of those. and get a few more of these. I'll pick and choose, probably not this orangish one. Pick and choose some pretty beads. Again, these are chunky beads, but because they're acrylic, I can use them and not have to worry about how heavy it's getting. Not for a while. I like that one with the green, and I was checking to see if I had another one that had kind of that greenish tone to it, and I don't know that I do. Got a couple of yellowish ones. Maybe those two. Yeah. Okay, just matching up some colors. And maybe a smattering. Yes. Yes. I'm going like full, oh, let's go to a normal range now that we're not looking at all the beads at the moment. I am going to make some earrings. I'm going to turn these into dangles, and then I'm going to make some links that have these fun colors. There's also these two guys, these glass beads. They're going to be for another project. Okay. Let me get my tools. Whoops. I'm trying not to make that much racket, but you know, it happened. I'm going to be using my flesh cutters. I am going to be using my wire working tools. So I'm going to be using my round nose pliers, and those are my round nose pliers, and my chain nose pliers. And then for opening and closing, I've got a set of flat nose pliers. I'm also going to use those to help work harden some of the loops that we make. I am going to grab some bright silver beading wire. Gauge. Yeah, it's silver plated craft wire rather. 20 gauge is going to be my go-to, but I do need to turn these guys into dangles, and I'm going to be using some of these 24 gauge pins and using them to make a dangle with a small rolled loop at the top so that we can use those. And then I'm also going to be using some ear wires that are nickel-free ear wires. I am making me some cute earrings. So, set the tools aside until I need them. First thing we're doing is getting the round nose pliers out and my pins. And we're just sliding that. Oh, really, Madam Butterfly? The butterfly has a large hole, went right over that pin, that head pin. So I just put one of our sweet little lilac seed beads there. I'm going to go ahead and do one here above it as well, so that we've got just a little bit of symmetry with that. I knew that I would use those. I wasn't expecting to use them on the dangle though, so that's okay. And then what I want here is about 2 centimeters. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit because I'm going to do this as a rolled loop. I don't really like making wrapped loops. Part of that is that I haven't practiced very much, but also, especially for a dangle and something as light as this acrylic butterfly is, a wrapped loop isn't as necessary. So what I do is a rolled loop. So I just take the end of that wire that I just trimmed down, so it's about 2 centimeters, in the jaws of my round nose pliers, and I start rolling it towards me. I'm holding it against my finger so that it kind of holds that position as it rolls. And then when I get about this far down, because I have tried, when I was first learning how to do this, I tried to center my loop after I made it. I tried to push the wire over before I made the loop, and it would just straighten out while I was rolling. And so when you get about this far down so that it's close, go ahead and bend back your wire. So it's like this, and then finish your roll. Ouch. Without pinching your fingers. And then you have a centered loop for your dangle. And I'm just giving it just a little squish to tighten those two together. So I've got just 2 rolls, see? So it's not going to take up that much space, but it'll be a nice little dangle, my butterfly. And it can spin on this. I'm not going to worry about that. There's not a front or back to the butterfly. It can spin, but it's mostly going to hang that direction. So that is what we're doing for this. So I do need to do a seed bead this time so that we don't lose our butterfly out the bottom. And then that other seed bead at the top. Trim off about this much. Yep, that's about the same as I cut before. And then I'm just doing that again. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in case you wanted to watch that more closely, because I feel like that was far away and it maybe didn't show very well. So you're just gonna roll like this. Here it's going into the second loop. You can see that starting. And we've got a section of exposed wire. This is easier to do if you just have one bead, but I do have that seed bead. It's making it awkward to see. I'm just taking this and I'm bending it back so that we now have that wire at an angle. See? And then you just finish rolling. And you don't have to center it because it already is. So that was the trick that I figured out, and it worked for me to make sure that my rolled loops could get centered. So anyway, gonna do that. All right, now we're going to make our links. I'm gonna go ahead and use this 20 gauge craft wire. I'm running it back and forth between my fingers to warm up the wire and help smooth it out. And then I'm going to figure out what pattern I want for that top. I think that I want to use these disc beads, these pink disc beads, but I got out enough balls to put something else between them, but I don't know that what I really want to do. Like, do I want to do like a stack of these? Or do I just want to pick a color and stick with it and just kind of keep it simple? I think I want to pick a color and stick with it. I'm going to lean towards the yellowish ones. So I'm going to take off this one that has the pink and turquoise kind of combination and do these ones that have more yellow in them. And I think that makes a really nice, pretty link above our butterfly. I'm going to zoom that back out for us. I think that's good. I think that's good. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and make my simple loop. I'm going to just take the end of that wire. It's already flush cut because of the way I do my links. I'll show you that in just a minute. And I'm just going to take it and pinch it between those jaws and roll it towards me until it touches wire. Then I'm going to open the jaws, rotate it around so that the bottom jaw is resting against that wire, close it, and give my hand just a little twitch, just a tiny turn. And what that does is it centers the loop that I just made. Instead of it being a P or a Q, it is centered. So then I'm just going to move the beads up, cut this off, flush side towards the spool. That's how I know I'm starting my next one with a flush wire, because this one's going to get another cut. So I am thinking I want parallel loops for this. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this so that the open side is to my left and bend the top wire to my right. That means the solid side of the wire is going to be on the same side of the link. And then I'm just going to rest my finger here and I'm going to cut to about 1 centimeter. That's about where it is on my finger. That's the extra little trim that I got. So now I'm dealing with flush cut on both ends for my link. I just have a little bit of wire to dispose of. And then I'm just rolling that, and because I already bent it over, it is a centered loop. And then I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and my flat nose pliers, and I'm going to put one in on each of my links that I just made. See how it's not quite straight the way I'm holding it? I do want these parallel, so I'm just moving that and giving both a little squish. That helps to work harden the loops that I just made. And I'm just going to do the same thing again with my second link right now. And I'm just going to repeat the same steps that I just showed you. Not giving you like a slowed down version of it. I'm just going along, making sure I've got that nice and closed. Snip. Bend. Snip. Move the wire out of our way. And then the same thing with my pliers, making sure that I've got the parallel loops that I want. And I do. And then I'm just giving them both a good little squish. Okay, so now I don't need my round nose pliers anymore. In fact, I probably don't need my flat nose pliers because the loops that I'm now opening are ones that I can hold on to the link, so I don't have to have a second set of pliers to do that. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm opening one side of my link, and they're symmetrical, so top and bottom doesn't matter. Just opening that and putting my butterfly on. Okay, and then I'm opening the top side and putting my ear wire on. And I am checking, like I can see that when I made this rolled loop, this is going to be the front. That's the side that I want exposed. So I'm making sure that that's the front of my ear wire. That's just me being picky. You don't have to verify that. It's gonna, I mean, if someone's close enough to see that, they're probably too close, or they're not interested in your earrings. So just saying, but look how sweet that is. Look at how sweet that earring is. I love it. And it is not, it's dangly and it's fun and it looks chunky, but it is not heavy because the two largest beads, the butterfly and our fun little rainbow bead, they're both acrylic. So they are nice and light. And there's our second earring. Got both of them together. Look at how delightful they are. I love them. They're so cute. Look at how cute they are. Yeah, those are super delightful. So this is me celebrating the wonderful, mystical, magical colors of the Aurora Borealis with this bundle. I'm going to go ahead and you won't see it. I already showed you a look at everything that we had. I am going to clear this up here in just a moment and get a picture so that we can do our last, so I can take a picture for the thumbnail for the video. But we will do our last look admiring these fun little earrings. I hope that you enjoyed this. For considering that I still made something at the end, I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit better. This is only an hour and a half. Thank you for all of you who stayed to the end. If you had to take any breaks, I totally understand. But there was a lot of fun beads to play with and sort and get organized. And I was inspired to make these delightful earrings. And so, yeah. I'm loving this. I have other ideas for things that I want to do with this.
Definitely going to be using more of these butterflies. I'm thinking a bracelet or maybe that long necklace I was talking about. How fun would all those little butterflies be in a longer necklace, drapey necklace? Ah, yeah, I might just need to. We'll see. Anyway, I hope you had a great time. Don't forget to check the links below for the official unboxing or to check to see if this box, subscriptions, or the upcoming box are available for you to order. Again, super limited quantities, so if you see it and you want it, you probably want to go for it. I think it's a great deal. It's just under $50, including shipping, and it is a ton of beads. And just a lot of fun to play with. So I hope you had a great time. I did. Hit like, subscribe, ring the bell so that you don't miss our videos. And as always, my friends, happy beading, and don't forget to play. Bye.